Warning now in effect. This is going to go for northern portions of Tippah County, northern portions of Benton County, and the southern portion of Hardeman County. Another strong sign of rotation. This one right over Grand Junction. You could actually see that swirl right over Grand Junction. That is the area of the potential tornado, and that's going to move to the east, pretty much right on the state line. It's going to come between Middleton and Walnut down in North Mississippi. This thing moving east at about 30 miles an hour. So again, this is a tornado warning for northern portions of Benton County, Tippah County, and the southern portion of Hardeman County in Tennessee. If you give me just a second, friends, I'm going to send an alert out here on our mobile app and make sure that is working all right. So give me just 1 second. Get this all typed up here. Just want to make sure our mobile users are focused in listening to this, because this is a real potential here of something to spin up. Again, we were just talking about we don't get tornadoes in the summertime very often, but with the system and the setup that we've seen, it's a possibility. Could have a quick spin up in here. BTI, we were just talking about that, 4.7. That's on a scale of 1 to 10. Of the likelihood that this is a tornado. It's a 4.7 right now. So 50-50 chance. I don't like those odds that this thing is putting down a tornado right now south of Grand Junction. It's essentially on the state line, Mississippi-Tennessee state line, southern Hardeman County, northern portions of Benton County, and it's moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. Again, eventually, this is going to come pretty much in between Middleton and Walnut, Mississippi. Middleton, Tennessee, Walnut, Mississippi, again, moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. Ton of lightning in here, which is usually a sign that a storm is trying to intensify. That's what we don't like here. But again, a little tornado warning issued. Grand Junction over toward Middleton and Walnut, northern portions of Benton and Tippah counties here. Let me finish this alert, get this sent out here. Still a very strong storm, and even if there's not a tornado like we were talking about just a little bit ago, without a tornado, you still have wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles an hour that can easily do some damage in here. So if you're out near Grand Junction, south of there, especially along the state line, you see that circle that's spinning there, that would be the potential area that we have a possible tornado. Let's see if I can finish this here. I am not good at typing and talking at the same time, so let me see if I can just get this wrapped up. That way I can focus on what I need to focus on. So let's go back over to that. All right, so now my attention is all yours. Now that alert is going out here, making sure that it's sent out to the right people. So let's zoom on in here just a little bit. I want to kind of get a better idea of where this possible rotation is. Again, it is literally on the Tennessee Mississippi state line. Pottery Road, some of these smaller roads out here, Hall Road, Smith Road, the community of Salisbury here. This is going to be to the east of Michigan City. Again, literally on the state line. Moving off to the east, there's Whippoorwill Road, Hopewell, down to the south of there, and then Rogers Springs. You would be up next if there is a tornado. It is headed in that direction. Again, it is a possibility in here. Again, this is not something we usually see in June, but with the setup that we've had, it's possible. And you could see those colors in there. This is our rotation detector indicating that possible rotation now. It is literally on the Tennessee-Mississippi state line, and it's moving off to the southeast at about 30 miles an hour. So again, if you're along the Tennessee-Mississippi state line, this is Hardeman County, Benton County, Tippah County, and then eventually over toward possibly Alcorn County. If this holds together, this is going to kind of ride between 72 and the Tennessee-Mississippi state line. So I want to put another storm track on this for you. Again, with that potential rotation, we can actually zoom in here kind of tighter because this is kind of giving us a better view. We've been talking about all day, the green and the red, when those come together, that's where there's a possible tornado. New Canaan and Canaan, Brody's there, Hopewell, and again, there you cross from Benton into Tippah County right along 72. So think about on 72 where you're crossing from Benton into Tippah County. That is where there is a possibility of a tornado right now. No indication at this moment that it is on the ground, which is good. I sincerely hope we don't have any tornadoes, but it was a strong enough signature there for a little bit but it looked like the storm might be trying to spin up a tornado, and that's why that tornado warning was issued. That is why we came on air with you for right now. New update coming in. Let's see, they're actually going to cancel some counties out of the tornado watch. We'll get to that in just a second because we do have a tornado watch. It was issued a few hours ago. It's technically in effect until 1 a.m. That's going to be allowed to be canceled early for many of us once these storms move out. But we got to get these storms out of the Mid-South first. Again, what we are on air for is a possible tornado in the northern portion of Benton County. It's about to cross into Tippah County out near the Mount Moriah area. Again, that's the Mount Moriah community of Tippah County, not Mount Moriah in Memphis. Memphis has no threat of a tornado right now. This is out in Mississippi, Benton and Tippah counties, Hopewell. There's Highway 72. And eventually, this could, like I said, come right in between Middleton and Walnut, Mississippi. That's about where this is. I'm going to put another storm track on this for you. Just kind of time out where this thing is going. Again, it's moving at about 30 miles an hour. Pretty much east, but it's got a little bit of southeast in there. And again, that would put it near the community of Walnut by about 10-11. Now, technically, that tornado warning does not include Walnut right now. These storms have been spinning up quickly and then dissipating rather quickly, which is good news. We don't want these long track storms that hang on forever. We've had a couple of storms tonight that try to spin up a tornado, and then just like that, they fall apart. So hopefully we can say the same thing about this storm, that it will come up quickly and come down just as quickly. But for right now, we're going to keep that potential of a tornado wind. We've got a tornado warning that is in effect technically until 10 p.m. Again, that's going to go for Benton, Benton, Tippah, and Hardeman counties in Tennessee until 10 p.m. So let's kind of reset here. We'll go back to our radar mode and kind of track out where the storm is. And again, even if there's not a tornado in here, which likely there's not, which is good news, we don't want a tornado, there's still the potential in here for some wind gusts 40, 50, 60 miles an hour that can easily cause some damage. That's going to be down near Ashland within the next 30 to 40 minutes. And eventually, this storm could bring some wind and some hail out toward Corinth. So we're going to watch that. But again, just kind of set the stage here of where this thing is. Zooming out just a little bit, there's that tornado warning. Again, northern Benton, northern Tippah, southern Hardeman. This does not include Ripley, does not include Ashland, does not include Bolivar. This is to the south of that, literally riding on the state line. A quick little spin up could be trying to happen out near the community of Canaan, east of Mount Pleasant, moving along Highway 72. So if we kind of zoom on in here just a little more, it's pretty much at the junction of Highway 72 where you cross in from Tippah to Benton County. And again, this is moving east at about 30 miles an hour. So just to recap, if you're in this area, specifically northern Benton County, I want to recap those tornado safety places, what you need to do if you're in this tornado warning. If you're at home, most of you are probably at 10 o'clock on a Sunday, go to the basement storm cellar or the smallest center room you have. If you have a closet or a bathroom or a hallway, something kind of inside your house, that's going to be your best bet. Stay away from windows and cover yourself. If you've got pillows or blankets, that is a good bet to seek shelter in that interior room. We have some tips for high rises, but we do not have any high rises in Benton County, Mississippi, so we are not going to talk about that. Main point is you want to get to the center portion of your home, especially if you're along Highway 72 in northern Benton County or just to the north of it. Really, this thing, if there's a tornado, it's going to be between Highway 72 and the Mississippi-Tennessee state line. Let's go back over to our velocity mode. National Weather Service still saying they're watching a little bit of rotation in here. And there it is, your green and red pretty much right together. If you missed us on air a little bit ago, just kind of explaining what this is, these are your winds within the storm. So we're not looking at the rain anymore. We're looking at how fast the winds are blowing. The different colors here, notice the scale up here, they kind of mean something. The green is wind that's going toward the radar. Our radar is in Memphis. It's actually in Millington at the Air Force Base. So naval base, I should say. Green is going toward Millington. Red is going away from Millington. So wherever you have that twisting within the storm, you're going to see green and red really close together. So right in there, again, you've got greens going this way, reds coming in another way, and that is an area that we probably have at least a funnel cloud. This is really close to the Hardeman, Fayette, Benton, Tippah County lines, all right in there, just to the north of Highway 72. And if we zoom in here, we can probably get some streets. This is near Hopewell. That is going to be Salisbury Road, County Road 704, County Road 101, Cutbirth Road. Again, we're right in here. This is Hardeman County, this is Benton County, and this is Tippah County. So kind of right at that 3-point juncture. That is where we have this potential for a tornado to be spinning up. It's pretty much right over the Hopewell community right now in extreme northeastern Benton County. I want to switch back over to our shear mode. This is going to show us kind of a clearer picture. It's not as confusing as all those different colors. This just kind of shows you in one single color where the possible rotation is. And again, right now it's along Highway 72 near the Hopewell community. Putting another storm track on this again, Walnut by about 10:13. You're not in the warning right now, but just an early heads up that if this storm continues on its current path, it would be between Walnut and Middleton by about 10:10 or 10:15. BTI still holding strong. We said that's a scale of 1 to 10 of how likely a tornado is. It's a 4.8. That's essentially a 50% chance that this thing is either producing a tornado or is really close to producing a tornado. All right, here's a new bulletin from the National Weather Service. I'll read this out to you. They're going to keep this tornado warning going until 10 o'clock. At 9:47, just now essentially, a severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado near Canaan, 7 miles northeast of Canaan, or 17 miles west of Big Hill Pond State Park, moving east at 35 miles an hour. They do say a little bit weaker rotation this time around, which is good. We will happily take weaker rotation, and that means less odds of there being a tornado, but still a very strong thunderstorm. Like I said last time, we don't usually get tornadoes in June, and this is no exception. Odds are there's not a tornado in here, but if there is, it's going to be a quick one. It can still do damage. I don't want to say that to completely let your guard down, because little quick tornadoes are still producing winds of 80 to 90 miles an hour. There's really no such thing as a little tornado, but these are not these monster springtime tornadoes that we typically see. But even if there's not a tornado, we've got winds in this thunderstorm of 50 to 60 miles an hour, pretty much right there along 72. I would not be driving on Highway 72 in Benton County, certainly not Benton County, probably not Tippah County, and really, if you're headed toward Corinth, this storm is headed your way as well. So just a heads up, if you're trying to go somewhere out in western Alcorn County toward Corinth, this storm with the heavy rain, the gusty winds, and the lightning going to be a little closer to your neighborhood by about 10:30, maybe 10:45 before this thing is finally out of our hair and calling it quits. So that is why we're on with you right now. The potential of a tornado crossing into northern Tippah County along Highway 72, really between Middleton and Walnut. That's where we've got a potential of a little circulation. But I do want to zoom out quickly and just kind of give you a kind of a set the stage of what is going on. I will say that Arkansas, you're clear from the tornado potential. You're clear from the threat of severe weather. As a matter of fact, Arkansas, you're probably not going to see much more rain tonight at all. So if you're watching from Blytheville, Harrisburg, Wynn, Cherry Valley, Forest City, Marianna, Helena, any of those towns, West Memphis, the threat is over for you. The storms are done. Could have a couple of more sprinkles tonight, but if you're worried about the weather in Arkansas, go to bed. You do not have to worry about it anymore. The one storm we're really concerned about is right there in North Mississippi, and it's moving off to the northeast, and it will be done with everybody in our area at least by about 10:30 or 10:45. Other than that storm, most of West Tennessee is clear. Dyersburg, Covington, Memphis, Millington for sure. Those river counties, the threat is past you. Haywood County, Crockett County, you're done with the storms. Fayette, Hardeman, McNary, those are the counties that we're still probably going to see at least a couple of more hours of some thunderstorms. Again, it's a little hard to see, but there is a tornado warning in here. It's that red box right in there. And again, this is for the potential of a little tornado that's trying to spin up right now, crossing into northern Tippah County. Let me go back to my wind mode that I was explaining a little earlier with the different colors to kind of show us what's going on. And what I'm seeing here is that things are not as intense as they were a little bit ago. Maybe 10 minutes ago, there was a better circulation, a better signature of rotation. What I'm seeing here is not as strong, which is great news. We don't want the storm to be any stronger. We want it to continue to weaken. So hopefully if this trend continues, this warning will end at 10 o'clock and we can go back to our regular programming, which here on ABC 24 is going to be the news anyway. So we'll be with you at least for the next 40 minutes or so. Weather Service saying the circulation all but gone, which is good. I was pretty much just saying that same thing, that it's not really looking that impressive anymore. That rotation is really dying down. And when I say that, what that means is essentially any threat of a tornado is going down. But again, sometimes these storms kind of pick up and then come back down. So there is a potential here that this storm could kind of re-intensify. So I do just want to give one more heads up here. If you are watching from Corinth, Ripley, that's generally the direction that this storm is headed. East at about 35 miles an hour. So if you're in Corinth, I still want you to keep a really close eye on this storm. If you're in Selmer, same thing. Bolivar, the worst is past you now. But if you're along 72, especially in Alcorn County, we've still got the potential for some nasty thunderstorms. Let's see if we can track this storm kind of the rest of the way out of our viewing area, which of course ends once you get towards Savannah and Pickwick. So if you are happening to watch us over the air, some people do. We're not forgetting about you. You just technically leave our area of responsibility. We switch over to the Huntsville and the Jackson, Tennessee television stations once we get to that point. So our area of responsibility ends with McNairy and Alcorn counties. Once it passes that, we should be done. We should be all clear. So just kind of timing that out for you. This is the arrival of the worst of the thunderstorms. That would put it near Crump at 10:09. That's going to be Crump in McNairy County. Savannah by about 10:15. Again, a little closer to Pickwick. Selmer at 10:16. Raymer at 10:20. Corinth at 10:21. Guys at 10:26, and then Eastview by 10:30. That would pretty much put it out to the Tennessee River, and it will be out of our hair. So within the next 30-40 minutes, we should be looking a little better with these storms kind of moving out of the way. Now, we've still got some thunderstorms, a couple of pop-ups out there in DeSoto County, also one right there near Mount Pleasant along Highway 72, northern Marshall County, southern Fayette County. Those are not really alarming. They're just some heavy downpours, so you might be hearing some thunder and lightning. But it's still this thunderstorm here, right there along the Tennessee state line between Middleton and Walnut, that we're really going to be watching at least for the next 5 minutes. I would say for the folks in the back, let's prepare to do the news at 10 as normal. I think this thing is going to be allowed to expire by then, but I do just want to give you that heads up that there is a potential of this thing to kind of weaken, which is good news. We want this to continue to weaken, at least from a tornado standpoint. There's still a ton of thunder, ton of lightning, a ton of heavy rain all along 72, coming into Ashland, Faulkner, maybe even down toward Ripley in the next little bit, but certainly getting a little closer to Corinth within the next little bit. Now, the Weather Service is saying, because of kind of the ingredients out here in Alcorn and McNairy County, this thing could pick back up steam. So I do just want to give you that heads up that even though this particular tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire at 10 o'clock, more than likely, once it gets out here toward Corinth and especially east of 45 out towards Savannah, there's a potential for that thing to pick back up a little bit more. So really, if you're in Corinth or Selmer, I want you to kind of keep your eye out for the next little bit, because even if without a tornado, this storm is still producing winds of 50 to 60 miles an hour, a ton of lightning. The Weather Service says 300 lightning strikes in 5 minutes. So it's almost constant lightning out there in Tippah and Benton County. And again, damaging wind gusts, hail possible, and we still cannot rule out a quick spin-up tornado. I want to get you to your watches and warnings, because everybody has been under a tornado watch, but some of those counties have been allowed now to be dropped from the watch. So we can kind of give that all clear. Again, eastern Arkansas, you're pretty much clear. Technically, that tornado watch does continue For parts of western Tennessee and all of northern Mississippi until 1 a.m. More than likely, it is not going to be until 1 a.m. I would say by 11 o'clock at the absolute latest, we're going to be allowed to kind of move on from this. The threat will be past us, and they will likely cancel that watch a little early. So I don't expect you're going to have to stay up watching the weather too late. But again, we still do have that tornado warning, that little red box there, right there over Benton, Tippah, Hardin counties, right there where all of those come together. That warning technically goes until 10 o'clock. So about 4 more minutes on it, but there's nothing in here that I'm just super concerned about, at least right at this second. So we're going to watch it. It could definitely spin back up once it passes Walnut. So if you're in Walnut, Alcorn County, southern McNairy County, out toward Guys and Raymer, this thing could easily pick back up steam. So I just want to give you a heads up. Right now, it does not look like this thing is producing a tornado, but it easily could try to again soon. We could see a quick little spin up at pretty much any point. So just a heads up, Corinth, southern McNairy County, don't let your guard down. This thing could try to ramp itself back up within the next 30 to 45 minutes before it completely gets out of our hair. So just as kind of a heads up, what's about to happen here, this tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire. They're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for Tippah and Alcorn counties. That is for wind of 60 miles an hour. So this storm is producing wind of 60 miles an hour. Now, this is not going to be a tornado warning, but the thunderstorm warning that they're going to issue is going to be a tornado possible situation. That means right now, this storm is producing wind gusts of 60 miles an hour. But hey, we're going to watch it because in the next little bit, it could also produce a tornado. So we're going to watch it very carefully, but for right now, the tornado threat seems to be winding down a little bit on this thunderstorm. There's your new severe thunderstorm warning. It includes pretty much the areas we were just talking about. Guys, Corinth, Raymer, you're in that severe thunderstorm warning. That is going to go until 10:45. Again, that is for the potential of damaging wind gusts, and we still cannot rule out a tornado as that thing gets a little closer to Corinth. So what is going to happen now? We are going to go ahead and let this tornado warning expire. That thing is going to go away at 10 o'clock. If you're watching us on ABC 24, the news is going to start here in just a little bit. If you are watching us on CW 30, our news time is over, so it'll be time to send you back to regular programming. But if you are watching on the CW, I would say go ahead and turn over to ABC 24 because we're going to keep the updates coming. We'll also have a recap of your top news headlines coming up in just a couple of minutes here on ABC 24. But for now, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and send CW 30 back to regular programming. If you're watching on ABC 24, ABC 24 News at 10 o'clock starts right now.
And thanks for joining us. It's been a busy evening and day with severe weather and rainstorms a short while ago. This is the torrential downpour at I-40 and Sam Cooper with the slick roads making it difficult for drivers. That evening line of storms followed another round of weather this morning. High winds caused several large branches to snap and slump overnight at this Memphis home on Central Avenue near Greer, not far from the University of Memphis. MLGW said winds of up to 65 miles per hour came through the area. Thousands of customers remain in the dark this hour. Well, all right, let's get straight to meteorologist Trevor Birchett. Trevor, you just wrapped up a severe weather warning right now. Are we done yet? The risk of more storms coming in the coming hours. What's the latest?
Yeah, long time no see, Brad. Good to see you back here. Yeah, luckily the storm threat is winding down, but we've still got some rough thunderstorms, at least for the next, let's say, hour. Till 11 o'clock, we've got a potential of some rough thunderstorms, especially east of Memphis. Let's get right to the map. Technically a tornado watch in effect for a good chunk of the area. That's going to go, again, technically until 1 a.m. They're being a little extra with that, for lack of a better term. They're probably going to let that expire within the next hour or two as those storms start to move out of the Mid-South. Again, many of us not seeing rain right now. Eastern Arkansas, you're clear of that severe weather threat. Memphis, we're clear of the threat. If you're in the Memphis metro, there are still some downpours out there, but the worst of that weather is done. I've got one little storm that I've been watching. In fact, a kind of a complex of storms from Hardeman County into the northern portion of Tippah and Benton County. These are all moving off to the east. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for Corinth, Alcorn County, and the northern portion of Tippah County, also southern McNairy County. That's going to go until 10:45. For the potential of damaging wind gusts. This storm's producing winds of 60 miles an hour as it comes towards Corinth and eventually toward Raymer and Guys. Now, this is the storm that just had a tornado warning on it, so there's a possibility that this thing can try to spin back up and produce another quick tornado. So we're going to watch it carefully as it comes toward Corinth. But again, right now, no tornado warning. There is a warning out for the winds. We've also got a flood advisory for Memphis because in the last 6 hours, we've seen 1 to 2 inches of rain, so some of those streets are flooded out there. Damaging winds remaining a concern. Tornadoes, it's a low risk, but a quick tornado possible in that storm out near Corinth. Heavy flooding, rain, and hail possible. But these storms are rolling out. Things are going to be looking better for the rest of the night. I've got that full forecast coming up.
All right, thanks a lot, Trevor. The early Sunday morning severe weather packed a punch in Hernando, Mississippi, an area hit repeatedly by storms in recent days. Tonight, homes and businesses in that community are still without power. Let's take
Here in Hernando, it has been